My name is Vivek Kom Verma. I am an assistant professor in EN department of ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today I will teach you the topic branching instructions of subject microprocessor and microcontroller with subject code KEE602. In branching instructions, but we will discuss first of all the jump instructions. Jump instructions. Jump instructions can be classified in two category: jump jump unconditionally unconditionally, or we can jump conditionally. So in jump unconditionally, we will jump to any other location without checking any status. And in jump conditionally, we will jump to any other location by checking the status of flag register. So in jump instructions, whenever we jump from one location to another location, we will not return back. In another category, there are another type of branching instructions, and these branching instructions are for calling subroutine or functions, and these are called call. By call, we can call any subroutines, and whenever a subroutine execute, after end of the subroutine, the program again come back to the main program. Okay, so we will discuss these instructions one by one in branching instructions. So first is jump unconditionally. Jump unconditionally is a 3 byte instruction. It is having 3 machine cycle because I already told you if we have a 3 byte, for example, jump is a opcode, and if we specify address, what does it mean? Whenever this instruction is decoded by the processor, it means it will jump to the given location, that is 2000H. For example, this instruction is written at this location, so it will be after executing this instruction, it will be jump to this location. So whenever it jump to this location, it will not return back to the uh, to the previous position. And since it is a 3 byte instruction, so there will be 3 machine cycle. One is opcode fetch, other is memory read, memory read, third is memory read. Because I already told you, if there is a 3 byte instructions, there will be always three machine cycle: opcode fetch, memory read, and we will find another machine cycle depending upon the logic. So it doesn't have any other operations, so it is having only 3 machine cycle. The fourth state for opcode fetch, 3 for memory read, 3 for memory read. So overall it will take 10 t state. Jump conditionally. Jump conditionally means when we are jumping from one location to another location by checking the status of the flag. So we have following instructions for that. For example, if we are jumping, like if we write jump C 2000H, what does it mean? Jump if carry flag equal to 1 to where? To this location. In the same manner, if we write JNC 2000H, what this instruction will do? It will check the carry flag, and if the carry flag equal to 0, it will jump to this location. Now, in the same manner, we have instruction jump 2000, for example 2000H. Jump P means jump if positive. Positive means if sign flag equal to 0. So it will check if sign flag equal to 0, then it will jump to this location. In the same manner, we have instruction jump if negative. Negative means if sign flag equal to 1. If sign flag equal to 1, then program will be jumped to this location. Okay. In the same manner, we have JP 2000H, for example. It will check if parity is even or odd. If parity is even, means parity flag is 1, then it will jump to this location. If it is given JPO 2000H, then it will check if parity is odd. Odd means if parity is 0, then it will jump to this location. In the same manner, there are two more instructions which will check the zero flag. For example, if 0. Jump if 0 means if 0 flag equal to 1, it will jump to this location. JNZ, JNZ means jump if 0 flag equal to 0. So in the manner, we have a five parity flag: carry, parity flag, zero flag, sign flag, and auxiliary flag. So we have we have 8 instructions for checking the flag value, and they will jump to the corresponding specified location. But you will note it that there is no instruction for auxiliary flag. So these two instruction for carry flag, this instruction for instruction will check sign flag, these two instruction will check parity flag, these two instruction will check zero flag. So you can find there is no instructions for auxiliary flag. So we had discussed jump conditionally. Now we will discuss the call function. Call means whenever you want to call any subroutine. Any subroutine. For example, if I have a subroutine that is written from this location onward. So if there is any subroutine, this is subroutine, for example, and it is returned from this location, and at the last of the subroutine, there is always written a ret. Ret means return from the subroutine. This is instruction. So how the call instruction works? For example, if I want to jump to this subroutine, so we will write call 2050. Since it is a 3-byte instruction, it will take 3 memory location. 2010 having opcode, 2011 will be contain the address lower address byte, 2012 data of address higher address byte. Okay, so but it will do, it will store the next location, that is 203 3 address. This address is basically in the program counter. What it will do, it will save this address. This is a return address. This it will save this address to the stack. For example, if we have a stack pointer whose value is, for example, 2099H. So what it will do, uh, whenever the instruction executed, it will push the address of the next instruction. For example, address of the next instruction is 2013. It is in the program counter. But it will do, it will decrement stack pointer by 1, and it will put the higher byte, that is 20H, on the location 2098, and again it decrement the stack pointer by 1, and it will push the address of the lower address byte on this location. Okay, after that, what it will do, it will load the program counter with this address, and in this manner it will move to the corresponding subroutine. So so uh, so whenever it go to the subroutine, it will go to subroutine. At the last of subroutine, it will find the instruction ret. So ret means return from the subroutine. But it will do, it will back this value, copy back this value onto the program counter back. Means first of all, it will whatever the value of 2097 memory location, that is the address of the lower address byte. Lower address byte will copy on the copy as a program control lower byte, and again stack pointer will be incremented by 1, and it will copy the 20H as a higher byte 20H here, and 13 here. Okay, now stack pointer again incremented by 1. Now again the value will be 2099. So whenever the program counter having the value 2013, it will again come to the main program where it is currently where it is where it was previously left. So it will again move to this location. So in this manner, your subroutine or function is executed whenever it called from the main program. Okay, so if you find how many byte it will take 3 byte instruction, because it is having 3 byte instruction. 1 byte is opcode and 2 byte is 16-bit address. So we all know that it have three machine cycle, that is opcode fetch, memory read. Third one is also memory read. Now I already told you we will find the probability of the next machine cycle. So what it is doing, it is moving the address of the next instruction to the stack, first as a higher byte then lower byte, means it is writing the memory, means fourth machine cycle will be memory write, and fifth one is again writing the lower byte, that is memory write. So since this is a in this, the opcode fetch is of 60 state. So this instruction is basically having a 60 state. So 6, 3 for memory read, 3 for memory read, 3 for memory write, 3 for memory write. So it will be equal to 18 T state. Now we will see now instruction. This is a call instruction. Now the previous call instructions are in previous call instruction we are calling the subroutine unconditionally. Now there are also instructions when we call subroutine conditionally. For this we have a following instructions, like these two instructions check the carry flag status. These two instructions check the status of parity flag. These two instructions check the These two instructions check the status of sign flag. These two instructions check the status of parity flag, and these two instructions check the status of zero flag. In the same manner that we had discussed in jump conditionally. So CC means it is given a CC. For example, CC 16-bit address. For example, if I write CC 200H, so it means call subroutine if carry flag equal to 1. And what it will do, it will copy this address onto the program counter and move to the corresponding subroutine, and whenever subroutine executed, it will come back to the locations of the main program. So in call conditionally we have 8 instructions. Call if carry flag equal to 1, call if carry flag equal to 0, call if positive, sign flag equal to 0, call if negative, sign equal to 1, call if parity even, p equal to 1, call if parity odd, p equal to 0, call if zero flag equal to 1, call if zero flag equal to 0. Now as I already told you previously, that whenever we go to the subroutine, at the end of the subroutine, we have an instruction ret. So whenever the processor read this instruction, it will go back to the main program. So this return is a instruction by which the subroutine will go after execution of the subroutine, the program go back to the main program. So return unconditionally. Return unconditionally. It is having a 1 byte instruction, 3 machine cycle. Okay, 3 machine cycle and 10 T state. Byte is 3 machine cycle. Since it is a 1 byte instruction, so opcode fetch will be there. Since it is copying back to the back content of stack pointer onto the program counter, so we have a memory read. Again, because we have a 2 byte in the stack, so we have a 2 memory read. for reading the 2 byte from the stack. So 4, 3, 3, that is 10t state. Now, in the same manner, we can return conditionally. So, return conditionally means again we have 8 instructions. These 2 instructions will check the status of carry flag. These 2 instructions will check the status of sign flag. These 2 instructions check the status of parity flag, and these 2 instructions check the status of zero flag. Okay, RC means return if carry flag equal to 1. So now we are giving the condition to the ret instruction. RC means return to the main program when carry flag equal to 1. RNC means return to the main program if carry flag equal to 0. In the same manner, RP means return to the main program if sign flag equal to 0. RPM means return to the main program if sign flag equal to 1. So now if we summarize, we will see the call can be unconditionally and call can be conditionally. So if call is conditionally, we have a 8 instruction CC, CNC, CP, CM, CPE, CPO, CZ and CNZ. Sorry. In the same manner, in the case of return, we have return unconditionally and return conditionally. So return conditionally will be RC, RNC, RP, RM, RPE, RPO, RZ and RNO. Now, the all instruction that we had discussed previously, either a jump instruction which can be conditionally or unconditionally, or they can be call instruction which can be conditionally or unconditionally, or return instruction which can be conditionally or unconditionally. Now, PCHL. PSCHL is an instruction which is very rarely used. What it will do? It will load the content of H and L register pair on the program counter. So it will load the content of HL register pair onto the program counter. This is a 1 byte instruction. So having one machine cycle, that is opcode fetch, but this instruction having a 60 state. Having a 60 state. Now, restart instructions. Restart instruction basically are instructions which can be, we can say, they are also called a 1 byte call instructions. They are also called a 1 byte call instructions, and these instructions are written as RST0 to RST7. Their opcode are as follow: C7, CF, D7, DF, E7, EF, F7 and FF. How we can find out their opcodes? If we see RST00, in RST00, first 3 bits are 11 and last 3 bits are 11 and the rest are 00. So we will change only these 3 bits. In the case of RST1, it will be 001. In the case of RST2, it will be 010. In the same manner, in the case of RST7, it will be 111. So 1100, when we write, when we convert this code in hex code, it will be C7 and it will be CF, it will be D7. So now, whenever these instructions, which are 1 byte call instruction, are decoded, what they will do? They will jump to the following location. Like whenever RST0 decoded, it will jump to this location, and whenever RST1 decoded, it will jump to this location, and for RST2 0010, RST3 0018, RST4 0020, RST5 0028, RST6 0030 and RST038H. If we see RST0 and RST1 have a 8 location byte apart. So in the same manner, all location are 8 byte location apart, like 008, 01, 0010. That is 16. Again, if we add 8, it will be 0018. Again, we add 8, it will be 0020. Again, we add 8, it will be 0028. So in this manner, we can cram it these address. So these instructions RST0 to RST7 are also called a software. We can say are a software interrupt. Means whenever we want to do some software type of interrupt, we can write these restart instruction in our program, and our program will be jumped to the corresponding the given location according to the which instruction it is. Like for example, for RST0, it will be jumped to this location, and for RST1, it will jump to this location, so on. Now, along this, these instructions are also provided by external interrupt using external hardware. How it's possible? I already told you we have interrupt trap RST 5.5, RST 6.5, RST 7.5, INTR and INTA bar. So this these all interrupts from here to here are vector interrupt, are vector interrupts. Means whenever we apply a interrupt through the pin trap or RST 5.5 or RST 6.5 or RST 7.5, the processor knows where he have to go. But in the case of INTR, it is non-vector interrupt. Non-vector interrupt. So this is non-vector interrupt. It doesn't know whenever this interrupt come, where it will go. So in this case, whenever INTR applied to the processor now needs the address where it will go. So through hardware, through hardware, the through hardware, the outside interrupt source will provide these restart locations, either this, or either this. So these locations, these locations are provided with the external hardware through these instructions opcode, because whenever we give a opcode from here to here, it automatically knows where the processor have to go. For example, if we give a C7 to the processor, then processor know whenever it decode this instruction, it will know where it will go. It will go to this location. In the same manner, if we give a D7 opcode to the processor, it know it will go to this location. So in this manner, whenever we apply INTR, we have to provide a restart instruction from outside the processor, and processor will decode the restart instructions, and by decoding it come to know where it will go. So all these locations are provided by the external hardware. Now, along this, we have some more interrupts, and these interrupts are vector interrupts from trap RST 5.5, RST 6.5, RST 7.5. It means whenever we apply a interrupt through any pin, they will go to the defined location. For example, whenever we apply a interrupt on this pin, the processor will automatically go to this location. In the same manner, whenever we apply a interrupt to this pin, it will go to this location. And whenever you apply a interrupt to this pin, it will go to this location. And for this, it will go to this location. So it will these addresses are known to the processor. And whenever we apply a interrupt through this pin, processor knows where he have to go, and they means these addresses are already known by the processor. That's why these interrupt are also called a vector interrupt, or are called a vector interrupt. Whereas in the case of INTR as well as INTA bar, the processor don't know where he have to go. So whenever any source provided interrupt through INTR pin, processor give back INTA bar acknowledge to the hardware. Now hardware will give the restart address RST0 to RST7 to the processor through this is microprocessor. So through hardware, it will provide the restart instruction from RST0 to RST7 to data line, and from data line go to the microprocessor decode the restart instruction, and now according to restart instructions it will go to the corresponding location. So here the locations are provided by the hardware, but in the case of these interrupt, processor knows where he have to go. For example, for trap it will go to this location, and for this interrupt it will go to this location, so on. Okay, so in this manner, we had discussed the branching and branching instructions. We have discussed the trap instructions, RST 5.5, RST 6.5, RST 7.5, as well as the restart instructions, RST 0 to RST 7. Thanks.